A mom slashed in the face and neck 79 times.
The mom had 31 stab wounds to the face. Just to break it down, 48 stab wounds to the neck.
She's an 18-year-old female. Says mixed race. I think it might be with Asian. She's wearing a pink tank top, shorts, one shoe.
She was formally charged with murder, and what she did to her own mother is horrific.
This teen is accused of that savage crime.
Then when she finally gets to the courtroom, she's wearing an orange jumpsuit and shackles. She was making strange faces at the cameras.
What about her eyes? There's something about her eyes that just gives me the creeps. They're almost vacant.
Back with my co-host Jenny Hutt. We've still got Lean, Dean, Lonnie, and Emily with us, and we're talking about a woman accused of stabbing her mom 79 times, and then just sort of walking away with a vacant look in her eyes. We all have seen that footage of her in court. Lynn, what's the latest?
Well, the latest is that there was supposed to be a competency hearing today. And the competency hearing, you may think it may show whether or not she has a mental illness or insanity. No, that's just to determine whether or not she understands what's happening during these court proceedings. Well, that report wasn't finished, so the hearing didn't happen. And what else did that mean? We didn't see her in court. Why is that important? Because Dr. Drew, as you just pointed out, it was that reaction of hers in court that struck so many people because it was so evil almost and so bizarre, and it led to a really interesting discussion that we had on this show about whether or not this is a case of psychosis, mental illness. And Deneen made a great point. Sometimes people are just evil and do terrible things.
I absolutely, but Emily, I've not had this conversation with you yet, but to my eye, that's a psychotic individual. But you haven't got much patience for that, have you?
Yeah, I don't care if she's psychotic. Then I mean, she needs to go to jail at least for life, not get the death penalty. I mean, whatever caused her to stab her mother in the face 79 times, obviously she's evil and crazy. Does it matter which? I mean, she knew it was wrong. I mean, she's functional. You know, it doesn't matter in any of these kinds of killings. Does it really matter the reason that they did it? I mean, if they are literally hearing aliens, then lock them into mental hospital for the rest of their lives. And that's one of the problems we have is we let people out of mental hospitals. When they're going away, they should go away forever.
So you see, Lonnie, what Emily's saying is we should put anybody who's psychotic, put them down like a dog, this rabbit. I think that's what Emily's saying.
Well,
I think that's what she's saying.
Well, you have to understand, I'm a criminal prosecutor. Yeah, Emily and I are going to be joining arms here. I am a former criminal prosecutor. For 18 years, I put people in jail, and whether the mental report came in and said they were listening to voices or whatever, the bottom line is they killed somebody. Unless the defense attorney can say that at the time they did it, they didn't understand that what they were doing was wrong versus right, then you put them in jail. And if they're mentally ill, you put them in a mental institution. But Dr. Drew, I understand you want to help every mentally ill person out there, but if they're also violent, they put everyone in society at risk.
Listen, I'm in favor of restricting their personal freedoms. And by the way, that helps them and helps everybody else. But Jenny, you wanted to comment here.
I do. Dr. Drew, going back to that visual of her making faces at the camera, that is a ferociously angry young woman.
Paranoid.
That is not so...
Paranoid.
And ferociously, she smirks at the camera and she's,
Dean,
angry.
Dean, help me with a moderate position here. Is it Hammurabi's law throughout the land? Is that it? Is that what justice is? An eye for an eye?
No, just because you're making faces doesn't mean you're crazy. Have you seen Miley Cyrus? She would be in jail for life.
Every petulant
solid point. We're talking about a different thing. Wait.
First of all,
Dean, there's one issue I want to talk about. There's one thing, though, I want to talk about.
Let's stop, take a beat here. Touche, Dean. But go ahead, make your point.
My point is this. There are 3 women killed every day by domestic violence in the United States of America. The police were called the day of the murder saying, warning. The mother said, my daughter's threatening me. And the police didn't do anything. And that's because the situation is usually looked at, if it's a boyfriend or husband making a threat, the guy's arrested or restraining order. The police have to take the same seriousness if it's a child threatening a mother as if it's a husband or a boyfriend. And this possibly could have been prevented. And that's a police that's not being talked about here.
Nothing. The police actually were called to the house that day. They met with her. They determined she was not an immediate threat. They said to the mother, you can kick her out of the house if you want to. So there's only so much cops can do. They don't have a crystal ball, and they don't know that she's going to stab her mother 79 times.
Okay, hold on, Lonnie.
But Dr. Drew, that's also a very important point for parents, and that is you really need to recognize these red flags.
Yes.
I know that they're your little babies that you've raised. However, when they are saying you will pay, when they are spitting in your face, when they are ignoring the pleas of police officers and parents to say, look, you need to change your behavior, and they don't. Parents have to really protect themselves, even though I know it's hard to imagine.
Emily, and before you comment, Emily, I want to say this one thing. Hey, and Dean, the one thing which is that, at least grant me this, Emily, that I'm urging parents not to go it alone. And if you have a kid, like Lonnie said, who's looking problematic, get help so this doesn't happen, so they don't fall into the camp that you have no mercy for.
No, but I'm going to agree with you. And what I'm thinking of, though, in this case of Adam Lanza, who horrifically killed those children at Sandy Hook Elementary School, he was off his rocker, and his mother seemed to be aware of it and trying to, we don't know because it hasn't been released yet, apparently trying to get him put into a mental hospital of some sort, but mostly was in denial. I mean, she obviously, the locks on the gun cases were open, they weren't broken into, he had access. I mean, it's another case of these mothers maybe in denial or protecting, but these teenagers who hit this kind of crazy land, I mean, at some point, there's usually a track record and a period, a long time,
but
and
ultimately,
so I do put blame on these parents for not getting
well, I don't blame the victim so much, but I understand the point you're making, and that again, it's that moment at which somebody who is in trouble, let's call mental illness in trouble, gets access to a weapon. That's that moment that we have to be better at preventing and evaluating.
She just had access to a kitchen. Right. She just had access to the knife in the kitchen. Are you gonna,
I'm not saying, I know your love for guns. I know your love for firearms, Emily. I'm not attacking your blessed firearms.
What about the woman at the Capitol last week who tried to run over a bunch and kill a bunch of people with a car? I mean, everything is, how are you going to prevent people from getting cars and knives and everything? So there's no way to prevent. The way you do it is crazy people get put in mental hospitals for a long period of time, and the bad guys put into long sentences.
Physicians can have perhaps a greater ability to exert their judgment. I think that might do a lot for this. Thank you, guys.